What's up, everyone? Savage Gamer here, and this is my mostly spoiler-free review for Of Lies and Rain on PSVR2. Now make sure to hit that like and please subscribe if you haven't already and you enjoy my content. Now, I'm a small channel and I need your help in order to make it a success. Now I also want to give a huge thank you to the developer Castello Inc. for providing me with this code for review. As most of you know, I'm just a single dad and I work 12 hours a day, so it's a really big help when developers choose to help out the channel with keys. So thank you. I genuinely appreciate it, and you. Now let's get into the review. Of Lies and Rain comes to PlayStation VR2 headsets on November 4th. By Castello Inc., a small development team comprised of just 5 dedicated members. The previous entry into VR space is a title called Arc and Aid, available on Quest headsets, not to be confused with Arc and Age by Vitruvius. However, there are some close similarities between these two studios. Like, both are very small teams, punching way above their expectations, and actually fucking delivering in spades. So what exactly is Of Lies and Rain? Well, I want to start by saying, while this is available on Quest, they did not just lazily throw a Quest game over to PSVR2 as an afterthought, a trope that I personally am just fucking tired of seeing. But thankfully, that is far from the case here, and we have the best version on PSVR2. This team used every bit of PlayStation VR2's dynamic foveated rendering, adaptive triggers, using the haptics, and spatial 3D audio, all working together seamlessly to fully immerse you in this world. This game looks gorgeous in the OLED headset.
Is someone there? I don't know. Who's Adam? Who are you?
What the hell are you talking about? It's me, Sam. We've been attacked by ADE's drones. Don't you remember any of that?
ADEs?
Now, I've heard many people compare this to Half-Life Alyx. However, I won't be doing that as I've never played that title, since Valve is unfortunately gatekeeping that to PC VR. So I'm going to take my own approach as far as similarities goes, based on my own gaming experiences. And for me, I immediately got Wanderer vibes, as far as the attention to details go, like how every object can be interacted with, from beer bottles, glass panels, metal barrels, and wooden crates. Everything has its own sense of weight and physics, and the sound design, which left me feeling impressed. Now, the clip I'm about to show you is cut down for the sake of time. I spent at least 10 minutes walking around and banging on everything with my mallet just to hear the different sounds and feel the different textures thanks to the haptics of the DualSense controls. I truly felt like a kid in a candy store discovering all these new and amazing flavors that I was surrounded by. Of Lies and Rain is set into a future dystopian world where the AI is taken over, giving birth to a variety of robotic enemies, and you take the role of Adam, the protagonist or hero in the story, whose memory has kind of been erased and you're trying to rediscover it all. You'll face some platforming as well as shooting, and everything feels and works really great. I had only one issue on my time spent in this world, which I will touch on a bit later. But Castello Inc. put in the work, and it shows, putting many AAA developers with much bigger teams and far deeper pockets to absolute shame here. Of Lies and Rain show what can be made when corporate decision making based on financial profit and playing it safe for a modern audience get thrown right out of the fucking window, and talented developers with a passion to create something new, innovative, and fun can look like when they aren't being anchored and hindered to investors' demands. This is exactly what we in the VR community need more of. Games like Arcane Age, Subside, Into the Radius, and now Of Lies and Rain sit right amongst those same ranks. Also, just so you know, everything that I've been showing are from the very beginning stages of the game to avoid any major spoilers, because seriously, you just need to play this one for yourself. Of Lies and Rain's campaign should run you anywhere from 12 to 15 hours to complete, depending on how exploratory you decide to be. But if you're anything like me, you'll have a longer run time than those of us who don't have ADHD brain and just focus on moving forward through the plot. Now, most of the game takes place within these shattered landscapes of tunnels and sewers and dilapidated ruins riddled in rubble. That line took me a few attempts to say correctly. However, you will also be transported into an alternate computer-generated world where you have a few super abilities, like being able to jump and double jump large-scale areas armed with a digital crossbow of sorts. The visual spectacle here is just stimulating, as is the 3D audio, with every sound being fine-tuned to perfection. And the puzzle elements scattered all throughout, some more obvious than others, but none of them had me feeling frustrated, and some had me feeling rather accomplished. A great example of this gameplay design, which I'm not showing here, but there was this section of the game where there were some cabinets that were located behind a metal gate. Then I noticed that there were some power cubes, which you need to locate them and collect them and then spend them in order to upgrade your weapons and character abilities. Now, I had previously unlocked an ability to essentially use telekinesis and managed to manipulate these cubes from where I couldn't possibly have reached them way over to an area that I was able to reach and then collect them. Doing that left me feeling like I somehow outsmarted the game itself, which is, God, one of the most brilliant ways to do a level design, allowing the player to feel like they managed to overcome an obstacle and accomplished a task that could have been easily overlooked. It's not like those cubes were essential to my progression. And I honestly could have just moved forward without even noticing them at all if I wasn't looking around everywhere. But I did happen to barely notice them, just out of sheer curiosity's sake. And then I managed to figure out how to get them by using the abilities that the game allowed me to unlock just a little bit ago. I mean, it was so thought out, I actually stopped in my tracks mid-game and thought, God damn, dude, this is some fucking brilliant level design. Of Lies and Rain offers so many moments just like that throughout your journey, but that was just the first one that really hit me and made me take a double notice. As I mentioned earlier, I did have one hiccup, which may be addressed and fixed with a patch at launch, so let's just get into that issue that I addressed earlier right now. Settings menu here is robust and offers you many ways to play with plenty of adjustments to set your preferential way to experience the game. Also offering performance running at 90 FPS on a base PS5 and 120 FPS on Pro or Quality mode, which boosts visuals to a 4K resolution at 60 FPS, which is how I played it, as I know they are claiming 60 FPS, but I swear I had been getting either around 70 FPS or the smoothest fucking 60 FPS I have ever seen before. Now they also offer a play seated option, and this is where my one and only issue comes into play. As those familiar with the channel know, I play all games seated. However, when I was first loaded in, it made me feel about 2 feet tall. I did try resetting by holding down the options button, and that didn't work. I also tried to redo it in the settings menu, which didn't work. Having never played it before, I figured maybe I'm just supposed to be small. Maybe I'm a midget. I don't fucking know. So I continued ahead. Eventually, I died from being gravity deficient, and upon respawning, I was reset to a normal height again. This happened to me twice altogether, but a quick reset always fixed it. So that's it. That's my only encountered issue. Of Lies and Rain comes in at $40 US on PlayStation Network. So is it worth it? I can wholeheartedly say, fuck yes it is. And I hope those who can't afford it do purchase it at launch. See, developers like this need to reap the rewards that they so just deserve. And us as players need to show PlayStation and the VR industry as a whole that if you put in the work, make exciting, fun, and innovative, highly polished gaming experiences like this, that we will support and buy it. It's games like this that will help VR to grow into the mainstream further and carve the path for other developers as to what it exactly is that we want more of and less of the shovelware, lazy quest port shit. But that only happens if we actually buy these games and on release and not wait for a fucking sale, because we all know money talks, especially when we're bringing Sony into that conversation. With everything said, my final review score for Of Lies and Rain is a 9.5 out of 10, and well deserved. I am blown away at how remarkable a game made by only 5 developers with ambition and love for VR can be when they aren't being held back by board meetings and investor calls. So let's make sure Castello Inc. has the funds to make us another banger on PSVR2 and ensure devs that put in the work and polish have a bright future worthy of the recognition their games reflect. Anyways, that's going to do it for this one. Thank you for watching. Make sure to hit like and subscribe. And until next time, have fun, stay savage, keep gaming. I'm out, y'all. Peace.